How is it going, everybody? It is JRob here from Team NrG GolfClash. I hope you guys are having an awesome week. We have another video today for the Grand Forest Tournament Guide. We have an all divisions guide and walkthrough here for you guys. We're going to be talking in depth every single hole here. But before we jump over to the guide, if you guys have not already, click that subscribe button. You guys have absolutely nothing to lose, and we are giving away a ton of different items to our subscribers, cash prizes, different items that we have that are definitely going to help up your game out there on the course, and some nostalgic items as well. So we have a lot of big ideas coming, and we are bringing you the GolfClash library. So hit that subscribe button, click the bell, and we will catch you guys in the video. Let's go. What is up, guys? Welcome to the Grand Forest Tournament Guide. Here we have hole number 1, par 4. So there's a couple different ways here for each different division that we can play this hole. First off, we're going to start through rookie, and then we'll move on to pro, expert, and master here. But for rookies division here, we're more than likely going to be playing this, the blue arrowed approach. So from the drive, we're going to play this with plus 10% elevation from the tee box. We're going to put our target in about the very center of that last little panhandle of that second right-hand fairway. We can either play it with about a bar or 2 bars of topspin and a little bit of right-hand side spin, about a bar or 2 bars. I would recommend 2 bars of right-hand side spin to kind of cheat your way back in towards the middle of the fairway. But what you can do is either get it onto that second fairway, or you can use full topspin if you have a nice tailwind, and use overpower and basically shoot your ball with overpower and aim for the green. And what we're doing is trying to get that ball to double bounce on that second fairway over that rough patch and onto the fairway that the green is on for a nice wedge chip down to the green. But basically what we're doing, for the straightforward short iron chip approach here for our second shot is just to 1 bar to 2 bars topspin, lay it up on that second fairway to the right, and shoot over that bunker there where the blue arrow is near that red dot for our second shot with a short iron at 0% elevation here for our second shot. And should be a straightforward shot here with about 2 bars of backspin on your short iron straight at the pin. We can also go to the left-hand side here and use the left-hand approach with about 4 to 5 bars of topspin, a couple bars of right-hand side spin here as well. But we want our target and our ball guide lined up on that first fairway where it's going to bounce over that rough patch onto that second fairway there to the left. And it's going to hit about where that red dot is there between both red arrows, and it's going to roll down about where our second shot is going to appear, down at the end of that second fairway where you see our red arrow going across that water. That's going to be our second shot here, and that's going to be taken with a long iron. It's going to be 0% elevation there as well. I would recommend about 3 bars of backspin on your long iron straight at the pin. Make your wind adjustment, and you should be very, very close. For those of you guys in pro, you're going to be playing with plus 20% elevation off the tee box. Guys in expert and master, 25% here, and your second shot is obviously going to be the same. A lot of you guys in expert and master are for sure more than likely going to be playing the left-hand side. If not, you can try bouncing it over with curl from that right-hand little hooked fairway over to the right-hand side, but it's definitely a more tricky shot. I wouldn't recommend it. But you guys in pro that are going to have a little bit better clubs, you are going to be able to play the blue arrowed approach as well, but the red arrowed approach is always safe. So that's going to be the end of hole number 1, par 4. Let's move on to hole number 2. Okay, so we have our second Sequoia Creek hole here at hole number 2, par 3. So for different divisions, you're going to have definitely different ways of adjusting for this shot. For rookie division, even in rookie division, this is a little bit of a tricky hole because of the elevation. People get mixed up here and wonder why their ball, comes in way to the right or way to the left because, they're just adjusting for their wind angle and not the elevation angle as well here. So what we need to do is just make sure that we calculate for our elevation here. And my best recommendation is what we can do for rookie division. There is a rough bump approach that we can play as well, but for especially rookie and pro, we can go with the sniper club here, and we can play it with 4 bars of backspin right at about the very end of that red arrow. You want to put your ball guide straight at the pin, about two green squares shy of the pin, so it has that room to roll down towards the pin and has that elevation angle as well. So rookie division is going to be played with 20%. Pro here is 25%, and obviously expert and master is going to be played with 30%, even more. So we're going to have 30% off the tee box for expert and master. There is the rough bump option here that you can do with the quarterback as the blue arrowed approach, and that is roughly 2 bars of backspin and 2 bars of right side spin right at the pin, just shy. So this is going to be one of those trickier holes here, but definitely one that is pretty straightforward if you adjust for your elevation and your wind angle. All right, guys, so here we have our first par 5 at hole number 3 here for Eagles Peak. So for rookie division here, what we're going to do is play this for the red arrow. I would not recommend playing this the blue arrow for anything, rookie or pro. Expert and master is more definitely going to be the blue arrow. So we're going to play this with the red arrow. If we have a tailwind, what we're going to do is use a little bit of overpower if we have to with full top spin, so a couple bars of right hand side spin. You can compensate with a little bit of curl as well, but basically get your target right in the dead center of that first left hand fairway, or that first second left hand fairway, and that's where we're going to want our target to hit, either on that second fairway with some overpower and get it as far down towards that second red arrow as we can, near that red dot, to set ourselves up for a nice second shot here. But off the tee box for rookie division, it's just going to be a 0% elevation adjustment. And the second shot here is actually extremely downhill as well. That's going to be played with a 10% elevation adjustment. So definitely account for that elevation, because a lot of you, might not account for the elevation here on your second shot, and you might find yourself up either in the rough there or the bunker. You can also use a little bit of a longer distance club here, and it'll get you right up to about where that red X is, instead of about where the end of the red arrow is. If you use the sniper, you're going to end up with a shorter distance, about where in the middle of that bunker. But if you get further enough down there, you'll end up being further past the bunker. But here for expert and masters divisions, we're going to have to be very, very precise. We're going to have to take this with the right-hand side approach, and make sure that we adjust for 15% off of the tee box here, and get that as far down that right-hand side as we possibly can. And I would recommend using the big dog here with whatever, at whatever level you have, the club that you have that has the most top spin for your wood, to get you with a little bit of overpower. You can make it all the way onto that second fairway that the green is attached to. But if not, you'll have to hit that little island fairway and bounce over to towards the green there. But that's going to be the wrap up here for hole number 3, par 5. Let's move on to hole number 4. Okay, guys, so here we have hole number 4, par 3. Sorry for the little bit of audio in the background on that last video there. I had a heater going in the background. But basically this hole here, how that's going to be played is 3 completely different ways depending on what division that you are in. The right side approach here with the red arrow, I honestly really wouldn't recommend that way, to anybody, to be completely honest, because it is so inconsistent. And if you do hit a great right or a great left, your ball could end up in a completely different spot. But the very spot on precise approach here that we do have would be the blue angle here. What we can do is use roughly 4 bars of backspin. You can use more than that. If you're closer down towards the rough line, right at the very tip of the blue arrow, you can use about 4 bars. But if not, I would recommend pushing this up more towards the green and using about 5 to 6, 5.5 bars of backspin. And what we're going to do is use 2 to 3 bars of right-hand side spin, and we're going to compensate here with about 25% curl. I would say that's about a little bit more than a ball's worth of curl outside of your club, outside of your target area. So we're going to want to basically catch this hill that rides straight down into the green, and if you do not catch it further enough over on the downslope of the green to where your ball will roll, it will actually push your ball further to the left, and it'll stop about 3 to 4 yards away from the pin. But the green arrow here is also for a lot of you guys in pro that will take the bounce over shot here with the long iron. That is also a decent approach as well. You can use a couple bars of top spin and some right hand side spin and get that to bounce over and roll towards the green. All right, so another Sequoia Creek hole here for hole number 5, par 4. This could be a little bit of a trickier par 4 for some of you guys. I would recommend here playing the red arrowed approach. In my opinion, it is the best approach here for you to get yourself an eagle on this hole and gain an extra stroke. So what we're going to do here, if we're lucky and the wind helps us out a little bit and we have a nice tailwind as well, we'll even have a nicer shot here, a nicer approach to the green. But basically what we're going to do is split those 2 trees right there, very middle, and we're going to want to hug the right hand side tree to where our ball is just going to go around that tree and go straight down that fairway with just a little bit of curl to the right. What we're going to do is basically hope for a left to right wind or a right to left wind, straight ahead wind, that we can basically angle that through the trees there and get it to roll straight down through the fairway. If you guys don't feel comfortable doing that shot there, you can also use the green arrowed approach, where you use more curl and curl yourself around both trees and get it straight down that fairway. If you do that, I wouldn't recommend really going for the green unless you feel comfortable with the exact amount of curl that you do have, because if you do not get the curl right, you will end up further over on the fairway in the rough or further to the left and in one of the bunkers or the rough line. We can also play this to the right-hand side of the blue arrow. You can lay it up basically on that right-hand side fairway, and then we can either take a long iron or a sniper shot here to the pin. But what I would recommend, like I said, is playing this through the trees here on the red arrowed approach, because off the tee box here for rookie division, it's definitely going to be the easiest approach. That's going to be 0% off the tee box. Pro will obviously be able to do the same shot as well at 10% off the tee box, and expert and master at 15%. You guys in expert and master's divisions will be bouncing through the trees here unless you have a higher powered ball that you can make it, and in that case, you'd have to use just a little bit of overpower here. But that's going to be the wrap up here for hole number 5, par 4. Let's move on to hole number 6. All right, guys, so here we got hole number 6 here, par 5. Forgive me, I'm kind of doing this on the move. We are on our way to work right now. So basically what we can do here for this hole, especially for rookie and pro division, is we can play this to the right side red arrowed approach. And what you can do is basically play this with a 0% elevation off of the tee box, or 10% here for pro. And what we're going to do is use full right-hand side spin with whatever ball that we're going to use here. In my opinion, I would recommend using a katana ball here on this specific hole, or a kingmaker for that extra distance. And I would recommend also either using the big dog here, or a club that has at least around 170 distance here, that has some decent backspin and a little bit of curl. What we can do here is then, after making your ball and your shot over onto that right hand side fairway, what we can do here is curl it with about 4 bars of backspin, 2 bars of right side spin here, aimed right down towards the pin, but we're going to have to kind of curl it around those trees right there and miss that bunker. We don't want to curl it too much to where it kind of curls around those trees and then ends up in that bunker right there before the green. So basically just around 25% curl here to the left, and you should be able to get down there and around those trees and right onto the green for either a close albatross or putting it in for an eagle. So what we can do, if we do not feel comfortable taking that over the rough shot there, we can just basically hug the right hand side rough line of that straight ahead fairway, and what we can do is just get it down there as far as we possibly can. And if you're going to go with this approach, I would definitely use the big dog here. The big dog, the horizon, something with, you know, that distance, but it's also got insane topspin, because we're gonna have to bounce it right at about the end of that blue arrow where that red dot is, and we're gonna have to bounce it over that rough patch and onto the green. And it is a little bit of a downslope shot here, so that is going to be played with a 10% elevation on your second shot. Just basically make sure that you do not roll so fast that you fly past the green here, but make sure that you have enough topspin on there to where you're going to get yourself close in or around the fringe so we can make a nice eagle. But that's going to be the wrap up here for hole number 6, guys, par 5 for Sequoia Creek, and we are going to move on to our par 3 at hole number 7. Okay, so we have Eagle Peak here, hole number 7, par 3 for the Grand Forest Tournament. So this one is going to be another one of those holes that's going to be played completely different depending on the division that you are in. So rookie division here off of the tee box is going to be played with a 0% elevation adjustment. Pro is going to be played with 10%, and expert and master here at 20%. So our approach here for rookie, in my best opinion, for the hole-in-one on this hole, there is a rough bump there and the blue arrow that we can use 2 bars of left-hand side spin and 2 bars of top spin. This is either going to be, I believe this shot here is going to be with your long iron from rookie division here. So those of you guys with a higher level grizzly or a Goliath, that's probably going to be the club here that you're more than likely going to want to use. If you do not feel comfortable doing that, you can always use the Guardian here and just lay it up right onto the green and putt it in for an easy birdie if you don't feel comfortable with this hole. We can also take the green arrowed approach that some of these guys in expert and master are going to be taking. You can use a wood club here at max distance. I would recommend either the sniper. You can also use the rocket here because we're going to be in a very weird spot as a mix-up in clubs. You may end up having to use the quarterback here because the quarterback is also going to be the club that we're going to want to use in expert and master for the blue arrowed rough bump approach that you're going to have in rookie division as well. But basically, the third and final option that we can play here, which is going to be a lot of the guys in pro, which are more than likely going to be playing the left-hand side here, either with a long iron or a wood club here to the left-hand side. I would recommend playing this with 2 bars of right-hand side spin, 2 bars of backspin, and basically just a little bit of curl to the right-hand side to get your ball to bounce over that bunker and towards the pin with your long iron. And that's going to be for pro division at 10% off the tee box. So that's going to be pretty much the 3 different ways here for the wrap-up that you guys can play hole number 7, par 3. And we're going to move on to hole number 8. Okay, so we have hole number 8 here, par 4 for Eagles Peak. So in my opinion, this is probably going to be the trickiest hole that we do have to play here in this tournament, especially for some of you guys in the higher divisions. So before I get too ahead of myself here, I do want to talk about the red angled option here. For rookie and pro division, this is probably going to be the only 2 divisions that you're going to be able to actually reach that shot unless we have an insane wind here for expert and master. But for pro and rookie division here, if you do play this from the bounce down shot off of the fairway from where those red circles are on the screen, if we play that shot from the curl and bounce down to the green with a little bit of topspin, we're going to play that with 10% from rookie division and 20% from pro division. But if we play that red angled approach over the trees, we need to play that with a 20% elevation for rookie division and a 30% elevation for pro division if we play that over the trees. So definitely keep that in mind. Your elevation is going to go up, the further that you drive your ball. So, the red arrowed approach is obviously going to have just a little bit of elevation added to it there. But what we can do here for rookie, pro, or experts divisions, this one is going to be played essentially the same way here for the right and left approach, but you're just going to basically compensate from what tee box that you're playing. So for rookie, 10%, pro, 20%, and expert and masters here, 30%. So the right side, what we can do is we can either basically play this with 2 to 3 bars of topspin, max left-hand side spin, and about 15 to 20% curl here. And we're going to bounce off of that right-hand side fairway, and it's going to bounce down towards the green, but just to clip that rough and roll out onto the fairway there near the fringe. With the left-hand side approach, that's essentially what you're going to do as well, but we're going to hit and curl right with right-hand side spin and bounce up and over and roll down and clip that rough near the bottom and roll out onto the green there. It is a little bit more of a slope down to the green from left to right there on the left-hand side. So if you guys do choose to go with that, the left side, it is a little bit more accurate, I would have to say. It's a little bit more consistent. But what those red circles are there for is if we do decide to just lay our ball up right on the end of the fairway with some backspin, and we decide to take a short iron down to the pin, we're going to play both of those shots from left or right side with a 20% elevation. We're going to have to remember that we have to play with a 20% elevation down to the tee if we play this with a short iron. So that's pretty much going to be the wrap up here for hole number 8, par 4. Definitely going to be a trickier hole for some of you guys, but one that if we can get the eagle on, it's definitely going to be a plus. So let's move on to hole number 9. All right, guys, so hole number 9 here, par 5, the last hole that we have in the Grand Forest tournament. So, of course, with each division, this is going to differ as well. So We'll start off here with rookie division. Off the tee box here, we'll play this with a 0% elevation. And for rookie division here, more than likely, we're always going to want to play the most aggressive angle. So we're going to want to play the red arrowed approach here, which is also a bounce over the water shot. What we're going to do is basically 0% elevation off the tee box here for our wind with full topspin. And you can use, a bar to 2 bars of right-hand side spin here if you want to kind of push your ball back towards the center of that fairway, that second fairway there after we take the bounce. So what we'll do here is basically set ourselves up here for a nice second shot on that long stretch of fairway across the water there that hooks to the green. And what we'll do is basically use one of our longer distance wood clubs here, because we're going to want to kind of curl around that tree there and basically get it down towards the green. We may end up using a long iron here as well if we do get our ball further enough down towards the pin, and you may end up not having to use as much curl to get around that tree. But what we're going to do is basically line it up right near that bunker with about 4 bars of backspin and a couple bars of right-hand side spin, and we're going to get it to bounce with some backspin straight down towards the pin and hopefully go in for the albatross, and if not, get very close so we can putt it in for the eagle. If you do not feel comfortable taking the bounce over the water shot, we can also play how we are going to do in pro division, in rookie division. So in pro division, what we can do here, if we do not have the chance of playing the bounce over the water shot, what we're going to do is basically play the blue arrowed approach here. That is a layup here basically at the end of that first fairway. What we're going to do is basically play this with a bar of top spin, 2 bars of right hand side spin, and get it as close to the very end of where that red arrow is as you can. Your target is going to be set up at about the very end of the blue arrow, and that's where we're going to want our ball to end up. So our second shot here is going to be played with just 0% elevation, no matter where we are taking our second shot at on the course. So I would recommend our second shot here being with the big dog, because what we can do here is either double bounce, or we can bounce and then clip the rough and roll out onto the fairway. If we do take the double bounce, we're basically going to be bouncing our ball near that last red dot where that bunker is on the right hand side of the fairway. So it's going to bounce right there and hopefully either slow down enough that it'll bounce onto the fairway and roll out onto the green, and not too fast to where it'll roll over the green, or it'll clip that rough and roll down. But we also have a third option as well to play this hole, which is to the left-hand side, which you'll see some of the guys from Expert and Master playing if they do not play the blue arrowed approach. But you're going to play that with a 20% elevation here off of the tee box, and basically we're going to get it with full top spin, a couple bars, I'd say a bar of right-hand side spin here, and just push it as far as you can towards that rough line there on the very far left-hand fairway as we can at the green arrowed approach. And I would recommend playing this with the big dog, especially because it gives us our most top spin for our wood club and the most distance. But what we're going to do is basically curl this shot around just a little bit to where we can take almost that same red angled approach, but here it's going to be with our wood club from that left-hand fairway, and we're going to basically use full topspin on our wood club and get it as far down towards the green, if not on the green, if we can. And then it'll set us up for a nice wedge chip, or a little fringe chip outside of the green there. So that's pretty much going to be the wrap up here for hole number 9, par 5 for Sequoia Creek. All right, so that is going to be the wrap up here for the Grand Forest Tournament Guide this week. I really hope that this guide helped you. If you guys have any questions at all, I have no problem helping you guys, so definitely feel free to ask. I try to answer every single person that I possibly can, And if you guys haven't already, please hit that subscribe button for me. It definitely helps us out, motivates us to make tons more content, and it's definitely awesome to build a great community of people with positive vibes that we can all get together and hang out. So that's what we're trying to do here. And so hit that subscribe button, click the bell, and we will catch you guys around. JRob from Team NrG Golf Clash out. Take it easy.